hardcore punch from Ski Mask Andy, where he gave me this beautiful little lump here, sucker punching me from around the corner at our parents' house. See, y'all, you keep asking why I was there, right? So I go over there this morning. This is what happened. I went over there this morning to drink some coffee with my mom, and my dad and I were going to go to the nursing home and visit with my grandma, which my brother has never done and never would. Literally cares about nobody but himself. But yeah, I went over there about 5:30, and I'm drinking coffee, and he pulls up just tweaking. I don't know what he's on, tweaking on something. Eyes wide, skinny as can be. Looks like he needs to sleep, you know? And as crazy as what he came in and said, it wasn't 7 seconds he was in the house before he had went around the corner and then swung this crazy ass haymaker from like behind me. It was wild. So he comes in, he's like, and this is what he sounded like. He's, "Hey man, you're in my spot." This fool has a spot in our parents' driveway, I guess, that I had parked in. And yeah, he pulled up and he said that, and it got real awkward. I kind of clowned him like for a minute, like, the fuck are you talking about, you know? He goes around the corner, and I was sitting down, like I wasn't even standing up. And he goes around the corner right whenever I kind of smarted up, I remember what I said. And that's whenever he popped out and like swung a crazy haymaker, clipped me with like one knuckle. And it made me bleed. I'm not gonna lie, there was blood and stuff, man. It was ridiculous. But it was more like a catch out move, like it was like some bitch ass shit that I would see like in prison, bro. Like these bitch ass motherfuckers like him would like in front of a security guard, if they were scared of other motherfuckers, they would like steal off on somebody in front of the security guard. So like security guard would take on, you know, the segregation. They wouldn't have to pay their drug debts, or they could hide from the Aryans or whatever. It was called a catch out move, so you go the hole, you know. That's what he did today. Like, you know, the only way he was going to get me, and he barely got me, was sneaking me, you know, like, and he would have had to do it in front of some people he knew was going to break up right away, because my parents, you know, they're going to break it up. But yeah, the catch out move. And then, you know, as soon as they get in the middle, he took off running, you know, like left his car there, like the fucking road runners, weird as fuck. Yeah, so here's the deal. Yeah, I called the cops, dude. I called the cops, I pressed charges. I'm hoping to get him for like some felony assault, because here, if it was like, you know, one-on-one, like meet up and fight or anything like that, okay, whatever, I'm gonna call the cops, you know what I mean? Duh, I'll never call the cops. But you don't get to sucker punch somebody and then, you know, expect them to just go toe to toe with you. And if they don't, then they're a bitch. Now, you know, I don't care if you get hit in the chin or you get hit in the nose or what. If you get sucker punched, like that shit sounds you. Like I just woke up, I was drinking coffee and shit, you know, and this fool, you know. So yeah, I definitely called the cops. He sucked a dick. This dude beats on women. I've seen him when we were growing up. I've seen him beat on old people. I hope that baby's all right over there. I hope Jennifer's all right. You know, he's just a terrible person all the way around. Yeah, he was trying to get out of the door real quick, and my mom was standing there, and he shoved that door open. She fell down, broke her shoulder, had to have x-rays. Now she has to have surgery. So, you know, it's just, I don't know how old he is. He's like 38. I'm 34. Yeah, dealing with him has always been a headache. I was his first donator. 2018, I donated him like $1,100 because he was like a literal, like today was crazy. I literally got punched in the face by like a bum ass fucking dirty homeless dude. Like that's what he is nowadays. Just grimy, you know. This motherfucker stinks. Like it's terrible, you know. But I think he's kind of always been jealous of me, you know. Like he won't fight me head up. I'll make that happen. I'll make that happen, like for sure. I'm trying to figure out how to stream so I can, you know, I want to do a stream where I pull up on him so I can let y'all know he's really a bitch, bro. The whole city knows he's a bitch. He don't got a single homeboy in the city, you know. But yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, you know. Like aborted it. He's a fucking baby killer. He killed our sister, Christy. Like I don't know. He tries to tell people or you guys or whatever that if anyone talks about his sister, you know, they're gonna get it. And like Gucci supposedly talked about his sister, and then I saw a video of him confessing that she never talked about his sister. So he just like apparently showed up and beat the shit out of her, just like that wild punch that he threw at her and from behind or whatever. He did that same thing to me. Like as soon as he passed me when I was sitting down at that chair, he started to go down that hallway and he swung that wild punch, and but he clipped me, you know. I take blood thinners. And so yeah, I definitely was leaking like a motherfucker. But yeah, no, not funny. So yeah, he killed our sister. He's the reason that she's dead. I mean, I haven't gotten along with him ever since that happened. Whenever he was 20, we never got along. He calls me a snitch because whenever I was 16 and he was like 20, he showed up at the house I was living at when he was homeless, and I wasn't there, but he threatened my friend's little brother that was like 8 years old and did a bunch of like really foul shit. Had the little kid terrified of him. By the time I got over there, the cops were there, and the next morning he like came over and broke out the car windows, and two of my I had some badass cars back then, and broke out the car windows in them. And the people I was staying with at the time when I was 16 were my legal guardians, and they called the cops, and you know, the cops obviously they did the whole restraining order thing back then. So, you know, it's the second time in my life I've actually had a restraining order against my own brother. It's insane, but completely like warranted and necessary. But those are the only things in my life you can sit here and call me a snitch about, dude. Call me that shit all day long if you want. Like, you motherfucker deserves to do some time for what he did to me. My mom's in the hospital. what he did to Gucci's, what he did to fucking anybody else I saw. He's just a fucking wannabe bully. He only bullies anyone that's not black. That's the fucking weirdest part. Like, he acts black, and like, he used to hang out with only black people, you know, growing up. Like, only played basketball, and like, yeah, I don't know what, this is real recent. I mean, so obviously those dudes all got to him or something. I don't know, but there's no excuse to go on those racist tirades. And anyways, yeah, this dude kills his own baby. You know, whenever we were growing up, our other brother Chris, he used to all bully the shit out of him, and I used to beat the shit out of Dave every time that he did. You know, I mean, growing up, it was stupid. Yeah, he was the stupidest brother to grow up with. Our other brother and me are like super tight. Our other sister Amber, we have another sister Jessica. I'm tight with them. They all don't even talk to him. Chris doesn't even talk to him. I'm sure if he heard about what happened here with me, he'd be really fucking pissed off. But yeah, there's so much about this guy you guys don't even know. He comes from like a good family. Like, my mom and dad are good people. They're not like dope heads or drunks or anything like that. Like, you know, I mean, we all might smoke a little weed, but my parents have back problems. Like, my dad had 2 surgeries. My mom had a surgery already. My mom has shoulder problems. They have pain meds they're prescribed to him. So, you know, that's what they take. And, you know, Dave likes to act like he's always treated them like shit and called them junkies and just always been real abusive to them and never ever helped out around their house. Like, all the years that he's lived there, he's never helped them with anything. Like, you know, never paid rent. I mean, I don't think this guy has ever paid rent. Okay, there was one time when he was like 19 that he had an apartment on his own. I remember that. Probably the biggest event in his life. But yeah, that was for like a few months. Sorry, I got distracted again watching this dumbass movie. Yeah, terrible all the way around, man. You know, live streaming it's like literally his whole life. He couldn't live without it. Oh, excuse me. Our sister fucking hated him. Like, he tries to act like, you know, he was like super close with her, and it was so tragic when she died to him, but it wasn't. I mean, she was wanting me to come visit her out in California, and she had, like, the last time I talked to her on the phone, she was like crying and telling me how much she fucking hated him because he was like harassing her about some shit, and she was just like real depressed. And I didn't end up going out. I didn't have a chance to go visit her. I was stuck at the time, but Dave was cool with her husband or whatever it was at the time, Elliot, and he went out there to visit. And my sister and him, they partied, they did all these drugs, you know, they got drunk as fuck. And my sister never took pain pills or anything like that. You know, she was 18 at the time, you know, and he was like 20. And she had a headache when she was drunk. And this is what I heard, at least. I mean, I wasn't there, obviously, but yeah, she had a headache when she was drunk. So like, this motherfucker gives her 2 80-milligram Oxycontins for her headache while she's drunk on alcohol. Shit's fucking hard to talk about. See, me and her, we were like best friends. We grew up like, we're like the same age and all that shit, you know. Dave was always like the piece of shit bully. So don't let him fool you with that shit. He never cared about his sister, like, at all. He's the reason that she's dead. He's the reason that it was his best friend, but our great friend that we grew up with, John Walters, is dead because of him too. Dave may tell y'all that he lived in Florida, right? Well, our friend John lived in Florida, and Dave went out there to stay with him, and the guy had a job waiting for Dave whenever he got there. Dave, ski mask, whatever the fuck y'all wanted me to use, whatever. John had a job waiting on him, and John had a job waiting on him. I got fucking ADD, and he fucking didn't want to do it. You know, he thinks he's too cool. Like, this motherfucker, literally, when he graduated out of college, he told my dad that he was too smart to go and get a job like all these other regular dumb people. And so he was going to go be homeless in LA, in a city with like-minded individuals where he could utilize the city's resources. Those are exact words. I remember. It was fucking hilarious. But John Walters, yeah, so he graduated from college and he went out to go visit John Walters, had the job waiting on him, blah, 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 and got into it with him. Couldn't stay for 2 fucking days without getting into it with him, and, you know, clowned him the way he does everyone else. I don't know what exactly happened. Dude got really depressed and blew his fucking brains out whenever Dave left. And yeah, it was definitely because of him. It was fucking terrible. That shit was sad as fuck. That was like just a few years ago. But yeah, he killed his own baby, killed his own sister, killed his own best friend. I mean, terrible motherfucker, man.